Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. Today we have a very fun Obscurity in 3D printing to show off for y'all. So this was Raging Heroes, or Loud and Raging, or Heroes for... I don't remember what the title is, what they call the Patreon. It's from Raging Heroes Patreon. This was their 3-month loyalty reward, which I guess I earned. Otherwise I'm not sure how I'd be printing it, but yeah. Wasn't too keen on the fairies, guys. Sorry. It just didn't do a whole lot for me. But this is their Chaos Dragon with a big, unpronounceable gobbledygook name, which I'm not even going to attempt. Maybe I will on the second hand once I put it together. But he was probably one of the biggest print jobs I think I have ever done, to the point where he actually didn't completely fit. He's not made of that many parts, but it was just... I was sitting on pins and needles waiting for this print to finish. It took a long time. I think the wings themselves, I fit everything actually on 2 plates, so it only took 2 builds. But the way that the wings were positioned, this one in particular, this one right here, was so tall in how it sat in the build area on my Frozen Sonic Mini. It didn't actually print all the way to the top of his wing. Not that that's going to make a huge difference. I can probably just put a little bit of green stuff to round it out, and he'll be good to go. But it's just huge. I'm not sure why there's these lines down the middle of his wing there. That's odd, but yep, so there's one of the wings. The second head is going to attach right here, and unfortunately, much like with our spider people, the parts don't seem like, while they're keyed nicely, they don't seem like they're keyed perfectly well. It definitely, I already started fiddling around with trying to trim stuff to get it to fit. So one wing is going to go in here, and the detail is quite nice. Let's see if I can zoom it in a little bit better. Let you guys check out some of those details. Obviously it'll help when he's got some paint, and hopefully I did a decent job of cleaning him for once. That is always entirely debatable. So see, that I was not too pleased with. This is definitely, I've been trimming this down to try to get it all lined up, but it's definitely going to need some green stuff still. So yeah. The other wing is going to latch in here. So I like this whole kind of valley cut that it just all kind of lodges into. I think that works, and it seems to work pretty well actually, but the fact that it's keyed in there regardless I think was kind of a little bit unnecessary. I'd like to see a better job with the keys. Sorry, Raging Heroes. As nice and as detailed as your models are, I really would like to see, I guess that's a pretty valid criticism. I can't be the only one who's having a hard time getting these things to go in correctly. And then the second head is going to go sort of kind of like this, I'm guessing. So yeah, the wing fits pretty good, and you can see he's already getting kind of big. I'm sure it's not the biggest dragon out there. I think if you guys want that, you're probably going to want to go like Mini Monster Mayhem or Lord of the Print, because they make ridiculously large ones. But I think once that tail is on, if I can figure out how they all line up there like that, that's gonna be pretty tall. Now they did have a base available that was in the unsupported files. I went ahead and just used the pre-supports because I'm lazy and I wouldn't even want to attempt to do something like this guy. But I know that, you know, you could probably print that flat. It's 2 parts, and 1/2 of that base takes up the entire base plate, printing plate as it is. So I'm probably just going to go grab, I'm sure I have a bunch of larger ovals that should work okay. And that is one of the nice things about Raging Heroes models, is despite as wild and as crazy as they can get at times, much like Creature Casters stuff, they do fit quite nicely on the bases. So give me a sec, we will put him together, and I'm going to probably squeeze some green stuff in there before I spray him and prime him, and we'll show you our Chaos Dragon in all his glory in just a sec. Alright, we got things nice and zoomed out here because we've got Kn'a Larrh, the big epic Chaos Dragon, all finished up. So here he is. And it's hard to see him right now. It's late, and the air quality has been so crappy, it's not going to really make a huge difference. I did not have the best of times getting him to print well. I did notice another spot on his tail where he decided he wanted to not print correctly. He also likes to stay off balance. I have him on like on an 80mm base, and even so, it's a nice heavy resin one. He still wants to, you know, catch and snag on anything and everything that he possibly can. So at first, after building this guy, I was like, oh, well, I guess, you know, they call it epic. He's big and gigantic. Yeah, to a degree. I mean, obviously, if we put some other models in the photo to give you a good sense of scale, yeah, he's going to be really big. Grabbing a couple other big models that you may be familiar with, just to give you a sense of size. So, yeah, it's big, but I don't know. I thought he was kind of a bit anemic, kind of a bit wiry and thin. Maybe I'm just spoiled with some of the larger prints from guys like Mini Monster Mayhem and Lord of the Print, who just make absolutely massive dragons. Not to say that this guy's small. It's just, I feel like he's very wiry and thin. But, I mean, it's a Chaos Dragon. If you ever wanted one of the two-headed ones like GW used to have, or Forge World, I mean, it totally would be a great alternative. There's probably space up here on his neck to have somebody sit. I did have to put a ton of green stuff. I don't know how obvious it is. Hopefully not too obvious. But the detail is still there, kind of. See if we can get a little bit closer. Show you what I'm talking about there. I thought I did a decent job of masking most of the green stuff. Some of those spots actually were the way they were intended. But yeah, none of the parts really wanted to connect together, which was kind of frustrating. So I did have to do a bit of cutting, and I mean, with the fitting as it was, it worked out all right. I think for the most part, especially with some paint on him, I don't think most people would be any the wiser. And I think overall, it is a nice looking dragon. Raging Heroes really seems to be going for this very fluid and dynamic style of model that not a whole lot of people are really making. And especially, he's very, you know, vertical, which is a bit different. We don't usually see that a lot too. So that is kind of a cool take. It's different. I think maybe if we just had one more head, then I could have gone full Ghidra on him. And I know that Titan Forge has a 3-headed dragon loyalty reward that they gave out some time ago. Maybe I should just print that next. But overall, I'm glad I printed it. It's something different, and it was a challenge that I really haven't attempted, even though we had a few small setbacks with some print errors. I think for the most part, it's not going to make a huge difference here, and I think he turned out all right. So hopefully, if you are curious about that, you will be able to make a good decision if you want to back their Patreon or pick up this dragon. I don't know if he's available for purchase, but he should be available eventually, I think, for backing them. And if not, always ask. Obviously, I don't work for Raging Heroes, so they probably have a better idea than me. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching. We'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.